It is dusk in the Alaskan brush. You are tracking a wounded brown bear. The temperature is dropping, and visibility is fading fast. Suddenly, the alder thicket 30 yards ahead explodes. 800 pounds of muscle and teeth are charging at you at 35 miles per hour. Your heart hammers against your ribs. Tunnel vision sets in. Your fine motor skills are gone. At this exact second, the piece of steel and wood in your hands is no longer a sporting tool. It is a lifeline. If your rifle jams now, you are dead. Today, we are breaking down the 7 firearms that actually work when a massive predator decides you are on the menu. Sliding into the 7th spot is the absolute standard for backcountry bear defense. We are talking about the Remington 870 pump-action shotgun in its tactical 12-gauge configuration. When guides drop into heavy brush, this is what is strapped to their pack. It features an 18.5-inch barrel and an extended tube carrying heavy 1-ounce slugs. You must feed this thing hardened Brennecke slugs to crack heavy bone and reach the central nervous system, because standard buckshot will simply bounce off a massive brown bear. Racking the pump feels like slamming a heavy steel vault door shut. It is a raw, mechanical crunch that commands respect. When you pull the trigger, the recoil is an angry mule kicking you square in the shoulder. It shoves with massive, unrelenting force. Under the hood, the true genius lies in its twin action bars. Cheap shotguns use a single bar that twists when you panic. Twin steel bars distribute your force evenly, ensuring the action cycles perfectly every single time. My only gripe is the human element. In a blind panic, you can short-stroke the pump, creating a fatal jam. Stepping up the game to number 6, we pivot to the ultimate backup plan. A rifle leaning against a tree does you no good when a predator drops in unannounced. Enter the Ruger Super Red Hawk Alaskan. This hand cannon features a 2.5-inch barrel designed to ride comfortably in a chest rig. It slings 454 castle downrange, giving you immediate terminal performance. Pulling the trigger rolls over like a polished steel ball bearing before braking heavily. When that round ignites, the recoil feels like catching a fastball barehanded. Thankfully, factory Hogue Tamer grips absorb significant shock, keeping the massive frame locked in your hands. Looking at the engineering, the survival value lies in the triple locking cylinder mechanism. Standard revolvers secure the cylinder only at the rear. Ruger engineered this beast to lock firmly at the front, rear, and bottom simultaneously, guaranteeing structural integrity against massive chamber pressure. Honestly, if you have weak grip strength, this gun will be a nightmare to control under stress. It sets you back roughly $1,300, built exclusively for survivalists who demand maximum stopping power in a package that never leaves their chest. Moving into the top 5, we transition to the dense forests of North America. When pushing through heavy brush, a massive long gun becomes a liability. This is where the Marlin 1895 SBL dominates. Featuring a 19.1-inch barrel, this lever-action carbine is built for tight spaces. Feeds on 4570 government, giving you 6 rounds of sledgehammer energy in a weatherproof stainless package. Working the lever feels like driving a heavy locomotive throttle forward. When you squeeze the trigger, it snaps like a frozen twig. The recoil is substantial, delivering a rolling push rather than a sharp bite, allowing you to easily maintain your sight picture. Examining the mechanics, the critical advantage is the solid top receiver paired with side ejection. Older designs eject brass straight up. Side ejection allows you to mount an optic directly over the bore axis, giving you an instinctual cheek weld when fractions of a second matter. My only gripe is the reloading process. Shoving rounds through a stiff loading gate requires fine motor skills, meaning topping off during an attack is impossible. Street price is $1,200, making it a serious tool for wilderness defense. The field is thinning as we hit number 4, bringing us to a legend among guides, The CZ550 Safari Magnum. While others stretch standard actions, this was engineered as a true Magnum action. It eats .458 Winchester Magnum for breakfast. You can shove 5 colossal rounds into the magazine, giving you unmatched survival firepower against a charging predator without needing to reload. Cycling the heavy bolt feels like sliding the locking bar on an industrial bank vault. Squeezing the trigger breaks like a thin shard of ice. The recoil is a deep, earth-shaking boom that lifts the muzzle hard, requiring a highly aggressive stance. Focusing on the mechanics, the advantage is the single-set trigger system. Instead of fighting a heavy pull, you push the trigger blade forward to set it. This bypasses the primary sear engagement, dropping the pull weight down to mere ounces, completely eliminating shooter error. Here is where it falls apart for me. The factory discontinued this absolute tank in 2020. Finding a clean one takes serious patience, and parts are a headache. You are looking at roughly $2,000 for an uncompromising controlled round feed machine. Entering the elite tier at number 3, we examine a German marvel. I know traditionalists will hate this ranking. Drop your take in the comments. The Blazer R8 ditches the rotary bolt for an inline straight pull system, delivering blistering fast follow-up shots. Runs on heavy calibers like .416 Rigby, letting you swap modular barrels quickly. Working the straight pull feels like racking a heavy steel pistol slide. Squeezing the trigger is like snapping a brittle glass rod. The kick is a blunt punch, easily absorbed by the straight stock to maintain your sight picture. Looking at the engineering, the genius is the radial locking lug system. The bolt head features segments that expand and lock directly into the barrel itself. This 360-degree lockup ensures structural integrity at cycle speeds a traditional bolt simply cannot match. The one annoyance is the proprietary ecosystem. You must use their specific optic bases, and spare barrels are pricey. The damage to your wallet is roughly $4,000, but it is an absolute investment in pure, uncompromising speed. Closer to the crown at number 2, we step into the romantic and violent history of the African safari with the Haim Model 89B double rifle. This is your ultimate insurance policy when tracking wounded predators into thick, unforgiving cover. Built to launch 500 Nitro Express, it gives you 2 completely independent firing mechanisms built on a single stock. If a primer fails on your first shot, you fire the second barrel immediately with 0 mechanical cycling required. Pulling the front trigger breaks cleanly, feeling like snapping heavy-gauge steel wire. When the massive solid bullet leaves the bore, the recoil is a tectonic shift that violently pushes you backward. Beneath the surface, the mechanical brilliance lies in the Anson and Dealey box lock system, utilizing a triple lockup. Haim secures the heavy barrels using a Purdy double underbite paired with a greener crossbolt. This ensures the colossal chamber pressure is distributed safely across 3 massive steel locking points. Look, I have no real complaints regarding reliability, but this incredible double rifle will absolutely sting the wallet, setting you back roughly $25,000. Sitting alone at the top of the mountain is the Winchester Model 70 Safari Express. It gives you the bulletproof magnum capacity of number 4, but at a price point that makes number 2 look like a terrible financial decision. Runs on massive heavy hitters like .458 Winchester Magnum Field and Stream called it the rifleman's rifle in 1964, and 60 years of bolt-action evolution has not made that title feel wrong. Pressing the trigger snaps like a dry icicle under heavy boots. When the heavy cartridge detonates, the recoil is a brutal shove that rattles your teeth, but the expertly shaped walnut stock mitigates the worst of the bite. Peeling back the layers, the true survival genius lies in the dual steel crossbolts. Firing elephant rounds generates violent kinetic energy that can easily shatter a standard wooden stock. By reinforcing the wood with heavy steel crossbolts, Winchester ensures the recoil forces are distributed safely. Look, I have no real complaints here, but if you are accustomed to featherweight mountain rifles, the sheer mass of this behemoth will absolutely drain your stamina. At the end of the day, selecting a firearm for dangerous game is an exercise in mitigating catastrophic failure. The allure of paper ballistics and high magazine capacities must always take a back seat to one absolute guarantee: the weapon must feed, fire, and extract under the most brutal environmental conditions and extreme psychological pressure. Remember, a perfectly engineered rifle cannot compensate for a shooter who falls apart under the terror of a charge. But when you combine an elite mechanical design with the correct monolithic solid or premium bonded bullet and ingrained muscle memory, you shift the odds of survival firmly back in your favor.